So what happens when you take the 80s classic Big and blend it with Superman?
Shazam.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to turn into a superhero. Shazam.
You do know that it's actually a movie and not real, right?
Shazam!
Tune in to alternate ending now.
Welcome to Alternate Ending, discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarasinski.
And I'm the casual moviegoer, Carrie Jarasinski.
And while we have different backgrounds and perspectives on movies, our goal is always the same: to help you navigate the cinema world to determine if you should spend big bucks on a flick rushing to theaters, wait for it to come out on streaming, or skip it altogether.
This episode, we're talking about Shazam, which is based on The Fawcett, and now DC comic book series by the same name. Originally, Shazam was called Captain Marvel, which makes it super confusing following the recent release of the Brie Larson hero flick. The name isn't the only issue that caused Shazam some trouble. Due to the similarity in powers between Shazam and Superman, DC Comics sued Fawcett for copyright infringement, which led to the creation of Marvel and Captain Marvel as we know them today.
And I guess we get two heroes then for the price of one. Shazam follows 14-year-old foster kid Billy Batson, played by Asher Angel, who is bounced from home to home while searching for his biological mother. He ends up in an idealized melting pot of a foster family with a loving group of siblings, including the superhero-obsessed Freddie Freeman, played brilliantly by Jack Dylan Grazer, who helps serve as a guide and sidekick through this hero's journey. Despite his aloofness and single-minded pursuit, Billy is a good kid. His pureness of heart makes him the most eligible candidate to inherit power of the aging wizard, played by Djimon Hounsou. It then becomes a race against time to pass on the power to Billy as the new champion before the 7 deadly sins and Shazam's evil counterpart, Thaddeus Savina, played by Mark Strong, destroys humanity as we know it.
To take on this challenge, Billy is given the wisdom of Solomon, strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. Get it? Shazam.
Are you for real?
Say, okay.
Shazam?
Shazam appears as the souped-up version of Billy, which turns out to be a massively jacked Zachary Levi, who you might remember from his role in the TV series Chuck and as the voice of Flynn Rider in Tangled. There were rumors swirling early on that Levi's new physique was thanks only to a very padded suit, but he quickly put those rumors to rest, sharing his new fitness regimen and suitless photos on social media.
Directed by David Sandberg, whose prior work included horror movies Lights Out and Annabelle Creation, this is quite a departure from his earlier movies, but those horror roots are still present throughout the movie. Care, what did you think of Shazam?
The only thing I knew about Shazam was that I adore Zachary Levi, and that as a child of the 80s, anything resembling the movie Big has a good head start. I wanted to come in with an open mind and no expectations and hope to be surprised. The highlights for me were, first, every single bit of the foster family dynamic and their relationships left me with the warm fuzzies. And in particular, the friendship between Shazam and Freddie was exactly what I wanted. Next, it's hilarious, like laugh out loud, tears in the eyes kind of material. And while most of the comedy is coming from Shazam and Freddie, each of the characters really have their moments. And last, there was this larger than average man that was probably around my age, so super old, sitting next to me, and he had the most amazing 12-year-old girl laugh, and he cackled his way through this entire movie. You couldn't not laugh along with him. And the lowlights for me were the whole subplot of Dr. Thaddeus Sylvana is just sort of so-so, and it doesn't really feel like it meshes with the quality of the rest of the movie. It's just sort of grim and dark, and whenever the story would shift to him, I was just sort of tapping my foot, just waiting for Shazam and his family to come back. And next, and this is a huge pet peeve, when you take a movie that could work for all ages and you drop in all these H-bombs and some S-bombs, this leaves me having to wait until my kids are like 32 before I can take them to see it. Overall, it's fun, hilarious, touching, and will leave you feeling just a little lighter than when you walked in. I give Shazam 4 stars, and I think it's totally worth racing to theaters for, especially if you can pre-book a seat next to a man with a little girl laugh. What did you think about it, Rob?
Well, Care, at its foundation, Shazam is a fish out of water and reluctant hero tale. Billy deals with the delight of being a kid in a superhero man's body and the responsibility that comes with having that power. Beyond that exterior, this movie packs a punch with a ton of heart. The diverse cast and underrepresented character types hit home without being overly saccharine. Highlights for me were, first, Zachary Levi. This is stellar casting as Levi pulls off the kid at heart like no other. Second, wish fulfillment. Featuring Chronicle-esque scenes of testing powers with his foster brother Freddie, I got my fill of wondering how awesome stepping into Billy's shoes it would be, and like you, Care, took me back to the big relationship between Tom Hanks and Jared Rushton. Third, the family unit. At the center of the movie is a remarkable foster family whose love and approach to caring is enviable. I left the movie wanting to do more good in the world. Lowlights for me were, first, the runtime. Origin stories tend to be longer, needing to set up the universe, all of its players, and of course a 3-act structure, but still 2 hours and 12 minutes is a long time to hold my attention, and I think a few plot points could have been cut to move the story along at a more efficient pace. Second, CGI. While an $80 million budget is substantial for the amount of CGI required, it likely wasn't enough, and it showed, particularly for anything related to the 7 deadly sins. Overall, I laughed out loud with this movie, and it had tremendous heart, so I give Shazam 3.5 stars. While it's a fun theater experience, you're okay waiting for it to come out on streaming.
We love hearing from everyone, so share your thoughts on Shazam with us. We have other videos like this one we'd love for you to check out.
And be sure to check back regularly to make sure you don't miss out on our movie reviews, trailer reactions, and live shows. If you want more details about all the stuff we're up to, including weekly movie giveaways, head to our website, alternateending.com. We'll catch you next time.
Tune in to Alternate